Hi, everyone. We are doing an impromptu live real quick. Christina couldn't make it on the last live that we did with Neil, so we just wanted to go ahead and jump on today because there was a couple updates and things going on with Christina, so we just want to keep in the loop with everybody and let you all know some behind the scenes stuff.
Exactly.
So before we get started, just want to say hi to everybody and to thank you guys for all being in the group, and thank you for another year with us. I can't believe it. It's 3 years now. Time is just flying. And thank you guys all for watching the interview we did with Neil. And thank you guys all for joining. This has been like such a crazy year, and we haven't been nearly as active as I would like, but we really just want you to know that we're thankful that you guys have joined the Facebook group and joined the subscribe to the YouTube channel. We've had a lot of new people this year, so for everyone new, welcome, and thank you guys for being here. And with that, I'll pass it over to you, Christina.
Yeah. And just ditto on what Helen said, just really appreciate everyone. And, hopefully we'll be able to get back to a regular schedule eventually. But, I've had a lot of personal issues that have been impacting my ability to help Helen out as much as I used to. So just wanted to kind of bring everyone up to speed. So my mom has been sick for several months and been in and out of the hospital very regularly, sometimes for up to 6 weeks at a time. So, and now she requires 24/7 care. So that's been something that's changed in my life this year. So it's, really limited my ability to put out a lot of content like I used to in the Merch Money group. And I'm hoping to eventually get back to that more because I know that that's why you guys are here, for some great content. So, and then on a personal level, about 3 weeks ago, I think it was, I went for my annual women's appointment, that we all get to do every year. And because I turned 40 a couple of years ago, so I'm actually 42 now, I just turned 42 this year, I started having annual mammograms. And basically my annual mammogram turned out abnormal, so I had to go back in for some additional imaging and an ultrasound. And they didn't necessarily like what they saw. There's a spot in my right breast, and my lymph node near that spot is enlarged, so I had a biopsy last week, I think it was. My weeks are starting to run together, everyone. I apologize. So had a biopsy and unfortunately did get the results back. And I do have something called lobular breast cancer. They're not really sure what stage yet because this cancer typically forms in lines rather than masses. So it's much more difficult to see on a mammogram or an ultrasound. So my next step is basically an MRI to see if this is in both breasts or if it's in just one. MRI can pick up on this a little bit better than a mammogram can. So I was actually supposed to go today for that MRI, but as many of you know who probably have had your own health issues, insurance companies like to deny everything first time around to hopefully save themselves some money. But so my surgeon is working on getting that approved and everything.
I can't believe that.
I know.
With everything else, it's then you got to fight with the insurance company.
Yes.
But man.
Yes. So once they get that approved, I'll go in for that. And the other piece of the puzzle, because I am young and because of this particular type of cancer, it's often seen as genetic, like there's a genetic component. So I'll be going through some genetic testing to look for the, I think some of you may know it as like the BRCA gene or whatever. It's an indicator that you're at high risk for breast cancer. So I'll be going through that. That process will take a few weeks, probably 2 to 3 weeks. And worst or best case scenario, thank you, Mario, and thank you, Christine. Best case scenario, maybe I'll only need what's called like a lumpectomy, where they'll remove the spot in the right breast, and they'll remove the lymph nodes in that area. And that's if they don't see it anywhere else, and that's if I don't have the genes for it. If I do have the genes for it, then kind of worst case scenario would be a double mastectomy and a total hysterectomy, because this cancer is, they call it multifocal and bilateral. So I guess what that means is that I guess cancers normally will start in one spot and kind of spread out from there. Well, this type of cancer can start in multiple spots at the same time, and in multiple parts of the body. And it's very typical to have it in the breast and in the ovaries. So that's, that's kind of like worst case scenario, it sounds like at this point, hopefully. But once I have, more information, I'll obviously share. I'm still going to try to be as active as I can in the group, and I'll try to make it onto the shows as I can. But these appointments that they're having me go through, or sometimes very last minute. So, I may get a call today and say, hey, the surgeon wants to see you later today to discuss something. So a lot of my schedule is very unpredictable right now, with myself and with my mom.
Well, you've been through so much. So just like what Mario and Christine said, we all are rooting for you and praying for you. And you have been so strong through so many things. I can't believe all the things that you've had to go through. And you're just so strong, and like nobody would even know you've had struggles with health and struggles with your mom and all kinds of stuff. So thank you for everything you've already done for the group too. You've already done a lot.
Oh, thank you. And, that's why I think I wanted to come on and just share this, because I know everyone out there is going through their own struggles. And sometimes you feel alone in that, and you feel like, why me? And why is this all happening to me? And I feel like I'm the only one going through this and everything. But, everyone is fighting these things in their lives, these struggles. And, even though I come in with a smile every day and all of that good stuff, there are things going on behind the scenes, but you can't let that, get you down. And, you just got to keep pushing forward. And,
and even if anything,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, even if it does get you down, that's okay too. Like you get back up, like every day throughout the day, you keep having restarts. Like, and you can allow yourself to be sad sometimes too, or get away for a couple days, or, take a walk, or, go out in nature. It's hard right now. It's getting colder, but it's, by me, it's beautiful with all the leaves changing and everything. So sometimes things like that can help.
That reminds me, this is one part I didn't share, is that when I did get the news initially that it was probably cancer, and this was like after the second mammogram and the ultrasound, and, the doctor came into the room, and I could tell by the way he was talking to me, he's like, okay, this mass has all of the characteristics of cancer. We need to do a biopsy, all of this stuff. That was at 3:00 in the afternoon on a Tuesday. By 6:00 that night, I was on a plane to Florida. Because I felt like it just kind of caught me off guard, and I was like, seriously, like one more thing on my plate right now, like I can't handle this. So I thought, okay, you know what? I just need to get away for a few days. I had to wait a week for my biopsy. I'm like, okay, if I'm sitting at home, I'm going to just be worrying about this. I'm going to go to my happy place, which my happy place is the beach. so,
Me too.
Yep. So I booked a last minute flight to Destin, Florida, spent a week on the beach down there, came back with an amazing attitude. It just totally refreshed me. And, I just, sometimes you need to do things like that for yourself. It's like self-care. It's like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to keep putting this stuff off. I'm just going to do it now, and just take care of myself and get myself back mentally. So, yeah.
And I think we all tend to overanalyze like how people are going to take that. Like if we need a break, obviously like cancer, like everybody assumes you're going to need a break. Christina's like, no, I'm going to still go live and do all the different things. But sometimes if it's a lesser thing than that, we try to push through and never take breaks. But this year, both of us have taken several breaks throughout the year, and the world didn't end. Like literally nobody really, it's okay. Like nobody really worried if we missed a few Mondays. So I think just remember that for yourself. Like it's always a bigger deal in your own head. But we've each had our own things. I had several different things, nothing to the extent of cancer or any of the problems Christina's had, but just various things. I mean, I tend to struggle with depression. So certain things throughout the year, this is kind of a tough year for everyone in general. So if you already kind of struggle, it was a little bit harder. So I struggle with that. I even just struggled with my relationship at the beginning of the year. We both disagreed on whether we needed to quarantine or not quarantine. My stepson has pretty severe health risks and challenges and things, and asthma and a lot of different problems. So to me, it was like, we got to keep him safe. But to my husband, he didn't want to. And my stepson ended up having to stay at his mom's for several months, just to, because the whole state was sort of on lockdown. So it ended up being like this huge fight between me and my husband, where he felt like it was my fault. Like somehow I had convinced his ex to keep Henry the whole time during the lockdown. Like it was all my fault. I didn't never talk to her. Like I didn't say anything to her. But I had just been trying to keep him from taking him everywhere, because he could very easily get sick. So anyway, it was, you never know what's going to start it, but just the disagreement on how to deal with the quarantine. I think a lot of people have struggled with that, where it's like, just how to react to it. Do you wear a mask? Do you not wear a mask? Like sometimes within a family, you could disagree on how to react to all of it. So, I was struggling with that, like worried about like, are we going to break up? Are we going to stay together? Like it was very stressful for me in the beginning of the year. And then now we're going to be moving. So my husband's been going through the warrant officer training, and he graduated. So he's a warrant officer in the National Guard. But he has a 6-month training. And it's the first time that we've ever had to move with the military, because most of the time he's in the National Guards and he normally just goes on weekends or a couple weeks. But this time it's a long enough training that oh, Katie's watching. So this is Henry's mom. Thank you, Katie.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, so thank you for watching. What was I saying? So it's the first time that's a long enough training that we might actually move with him. So that's a whole nother thing to think about. Like, are we going to move? Am I going to stay here? So Katie's watching. Katie, we haven't officially decided. So I don't even know if she knows when the training is. This is all brand new. It starts in March, Katie, instead of May. I was thinking it was going to be May. So it's March to September. So that's coming up soon to decide, like, are we going to rent out the house? Are we going to move? So that's added stress. But anyway, Christina's is obviously way more. But the point was just that a lot of people are going through stress this year, including us. So we just wanted to be as, just as open as possible. Yeah, just to kind of, not even just for the fact of being transparent, but just for the fact of um, sharing our struggles with you guys so you know you're not alone. Like
Yes.
sometimes in these kind of groups, it feels like everyone's doing so well and everyone's making millions of dollars, but there's so much else going on behind the scenes, and life is just hard. And this particular year has hit people hard in a lot of different ways. So
It has.
yeah. So
And one other thing I want to just remind everyone of, if you are a woman, make sure that you're getting your annual pap smears. And if you're a woman over 40, make sure that you're getting your annual mammograms. Some health systems and some places don't like to start it until age 50, but a lot of times they will approve it as long as you're over age 40. And then for men, again, same thing. Men age 40 and up should have annual prostate exams for the same reason. So, use this as a learning experience, and, just make sure that you're getting those things done. I know it's easy to forget about them and say, I'm not feeling any symptoms. I'm not feeling bad, so I don't need to go. Well, I'm not feeling bad either. So I don't have really any symptoms to speak of. So, just make sure you're doing that. And then one last thing, that I want to say is that, I know that, the state of the US has been just crazy this year, politically, and just all of this conflict and things like that. And one thing that I have noticed since I've, quote, become a cancer patient,
I'm good. We're all glossing over like, oh yeah, she has cancer, no big deal.
I know.
So it's so hard to convey, like, oh my God.
Yeah. But it's, you know what? The worst part for me is the way that people are treating me, which you would think that, a lot of people would like that, but like, it's weird when someone thinks you have cancer, they treat you completely differently. It's more of a loving and a kind way. So if anything, use this as an opportunity to treat everyone in your life
like that all the
cancer
time.
Patient.
All the time. Yes.
Treat everyone that you come in contact with like they're a cancer patient. How would you treat them? You would be kind to them. You would be respectful. You would be loving. There's just too much fighting and hate right now. And like I said, this has been the one thing that I've noticed, like even at the doctor's office, not that doctor's offices are bad, but like sometimes they get a little snippy with you, and they're short with you. Oh no, not now. Like they go out of their way to be like overly kind to me. And it's like, geez, I wish you could have been like this, like, all the time. And it makes me feel bad because I see how they treat me versus how they treat someone else who doesn't have cancer. And it's not fair,
No.
So that's just something I've noticed, and I'll continue to share my observations and my journey with everyone. But
that's a very, very good point. And I've never experienced it from that point of view, but I remember like switching from being a manager at a retail store to being a manager at a bank. Night and day how people treat you, even managers. Like if you're a manager at a retail, you still don't get treated very well. Like even if you're the manager, it's kind of just like, you are going to do this for me, and like that's how people approach the manager. At the bank, it's like, ma'am, can you please, like they're very like more like almost like begging instead of demanding, and they're much nicer and give you a lot more respect than if you're a manager at a retail store. Same with like types of restaurants. Like if you are working at a fast food, you're going to get treated one way. If you're working at an upscale restaurant, you're going to be treated a different way. It's the same thing. You're serving food and whatever. But anyway, try to treat everyone like they are a human being who is going through life the best they can.
Yes, because you don't see that. You wouldn't look at me on the street and think that I have cancer.
Exactly.
And so every person that you come in contact with is dealing with their own issues, is potentially dealing with depression and anxiety, and who knows all what's going on in their life. They could be a cancer patient. They could be terminal. Who knows? So just treat everyone like like a human being, like you said. So
Yes.
it's like, drop the, it's just, I hope that that's something that everyone takes away. So
Yeah.
yes. Oh,
Well,
I love
thank you.
Katie's comment. There we go.
Yep.
She said, we have no idea of other struggles. Treating them with kindness costs us nothing. That is
Yep.
absolutely.
And that
Right.
is exactly how Katie lives her life. She's an
Yeah.
amazing person. And
Wow.
she's always treated me with kindness, which is not easy to do. So she's a role model for how to treat stepmoms.
Yeah.
She's amazing. So I appreciate you, Katie, and thank you so much for supporting everyone and being kind to everyone.
Yes. Yes. And thank you all for tuning in, and thank you all for your kind comments and support and prayers and all of that. So I really appreciate it. Oh,
So
now Katie's crying. That's not good.
No, she's amazing. So, all right. Well, thank you guys. And thank you, Christina. You are always an inspiration and just amazing person.
Oh,
so
thank you, Helen. You are too.
So
thank you.
All right. We'll see you guys all soon. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.
All right. Bye, everyone.